Hey everyone, it's Steve. Today I just wanted to quickly go over the Dawnbreaker dungeon. I'm going to be doing this on Heroic. This is not a Mythic Plus guide or anything like that. This is just to kind of show where you need to be going in this dungeon. I feel like people get lost in here all the time, myself included. I've done this dungeon a bunch of times and you still kind of lose your way sometimes with all the flight mechanics and places you need to go. So I just thought I'd do a quick walkthrough on this. So at the beginning of the dungeon, all you have to do are kill these 6 mobs. So the first 2 and then this first pack here. The Ritualist, the big purple guy, those are the guys that kind of represent the packs that need to be killed. So all the other enemy mobs that are around the map, you don't have to do anything with those. You just have to kill these 2 packs that are right in front of you and then go up the stairs onto the ship. And that's kind of like the first phase of the dungeon. And I'm just in a pug group here, so I don't know. I don't even have my details running or anything like that, so it might take a second to kill some of the stuff, but basically, so you run up onto the ship after you do this pull, and you can see here in the middle of the ship, this pack, see the Nightfall Commander here? The big purple guy. So there's one here in the center of the ship. And then there's one up on the edge right here. So you can see I pull both of them. These are the only 2 packs that you need to kill to initiate the next phase of the dungeon. So basically, if you pull those 2 packs and kill them, those 2 commanders, or I think one of them's called, well, they're both like either Nightfall Commander or Nightfall Ritualist, something like that. Those 2 guys need to die and the packs that are associated with them, and then that will initiate this next phase. So again, all of the enemies on the outside of the ship you don't have to worry about. As soon as those 2 packs are dead, you want to go ahead and start trying to mount on your flying mount here, and you're going to fly off the ship. And basically there are 2 ships that are parallel on both sides of the Dawnbreaker. So you're going to go to the first side where you see the ship, and you're going to kill the mobs on that side. Then you're going to fly back the way you came through the Dawnbreaker, or around it, either way. But on the exact opposite side and parallel to this ship will be another ship where you have to kill another pack like this. And I think there's a little bomb you have to click before you leave. So you'll see we'll go exactly opposite of this ship. So the Dawnbreaker, and then on the other side you see, they're kind of like tethered to the ship. So you can see those lines. That actually shows you which way you're supposed to be going. And then same thing, you just kill this pack, and there's a little barrel icon that you have to click on to blow this ship up. And then you're going to be going back to the Dawnbreaker again, which is the first ship that you were on, the big one. So the main thing about this dungeon is just trying to orient yourself to where you're supposed to be flying, because sometimes you have to go down to the ground, and sometimes you have to go to other ships, and then you have to come back up to the ship, so it just kind of gets confusing onto where you're supposed to go. Kind of slow DPS on this. I think we have, you can see on my mini map, there's some people that are lost in the dungeon. So there's only like 3 of us here. So now we're going back to the center ship, the Dawnbreaker. And you're going to fight this first boss. And she doesn't really have any mechanics, at least on normal and heroic, that are that big of a deal. There's things that you need to interrupt. I spell reflect a couple of her spell reflectable spells. Again, I'm not sure what these fights are going to be like on Mythic Plus. I haven't done them. Run. She starts to cast this purple bubble, and it does tell you run if you have DBM or something on. You want to mount, and then you want to fly outside of the ship, and you'll see that there's all these little orange globes. So you can just kind of fly around and grab the orange globes while you wait on the explosion to blow up. Then you come back to the ship, and you're going to fight her again. And I'm pretty sure that there's no way to kill her before she does that mechanic again. I think before she dies, no matter what, she's going to do the mechanic again.
Watch your step. Defensive. Watch your step.
So she should be dead here, but now if she casts this thing, darkness comes again. You see how it's a circle expanding out? You just need to mount onto your mount, fly out, fly around and hit these globes or whatever while you wait on it to blow up. You need to be that far away because this thing does get pretty big, and when it explodes, if it hits you, you just instantly die. So fly back to the boat, pick up your loot, and now there's some dialogue, but basically you can see on the map here there's a little yellow circle there, and I'm going to fly down, and you can see that this is the next boss you need to fight. This boss patrols all over the map. So really it's kind of up to the tank to see this circle and then pick a spot to fight it. I did not pick a very good spot to fight it. I just kind of went for it because my tank is kind of so strong right now. I don't know what my eye level was when I did this dungeon, but I think I'm 580 at this point. So I can pretty much just tank all this stuff as long as my healer just tosses a couple heals here and there. No problem. So I picked up all kinds of stuff that I shouldn't have. Obviously in a Mythic Plus or something, you're not going to do this. But basically this mob does patrol around the map, and it's going to be a big circle icon, a yellow circle icon on your map. So you're flying down to that. So basically, you want your tank to get there first, obviously, to pick up whatever it is. So if you're not the tank, you kind of probably just need to kind of hover around until you see that your tank has landed on or near this boss, or in a location to pull this boss that's safe. And this boss, for some reason, seems to have like a ton of health, like 3 to 4 times as much health as the other bosses that you fight. I'm not sure what that's about. Basically, for the tank, you'll get this big circle on you, and it's going to do a knockback. For a warrior, it's just a joke. Obviously, it did. I was next to this room that had some ads, but honestly, in heroic, the more the merrier. I'll take as much stuff beating on me as possible to get the extra rage. The other mechanic is just this ball that it targets on somebody that's going to roll through things, so you don't want to obviously push that through your whole party.
Run. Crowd control.
You see this big circle again. It just does a little knockback on the tank, so you kind of want to be positioned in a way with that where you're not going to get knocked into a bunch of ads or something. And that's the other mechanic there with the big purple ball. It just kind of rolls. Okay, as soon as this is down, she's going to go through some more dialogue, and you need to fly back up to the Dawnbreaker. So just kind of fly up in the air and find the ship that's up there. And I think once her dialogue starts up at the top of the screen, you can see Return of the Dawnbreaker. So you get a little notification at the top of the screen once she starts talking, but you can get up and fly before that and just go ahead and fly over there and wait on your team. And you can see I'm pinging my team to come back to the top because I think I've basically done this whole dungeon with like 3 players because people are just lost in it. Honestly, the whole point of this guide is, again, not even really boss mechanics, but just like, where am I supposed to go during the phases of this dungeon, because it's kind of complicated. So you're going to fight her for a couple minutes here, and then she's going to I think she either transforms or she summons something that, I don't think you can actually kill her here, right? Yeah. Oh, she does die. So then what's this thing called? Rashanan. So this guy comes down and you're going to fight him. He kind of has one mechanic you need to pay attention to, which is this targeted beam like this. The beam is on a player. It won't get targeted on the tank. I think it gets targeted on the DPS and the healer. And the beam is going to move perpendicular to the boss towards a side that is where the targeted player is. So basically you want to run that away from your team. You don't want to run back over the team because that bar is going to come through them and hit everybody. And then the other mechanic is that there are these barrels back behind that spawn behind where you're fighting. And you just need to run back, get the barrels, and I think throw them at him because he has a lot of health too. And I think they do big damage to him. Yeah, see these barrels, exploding barrels back here? You want to go pick them up and then chuck them at the boss. That's really all you got to do on this boss. And then he's going to fly away. This is one of the more complicated parts. So you want to mount your mount again. You can see this thing is channeling on you. You want to follow the boss, but there's a specific way that you want to follow him. There's like these little orbs, see, that are spawning, that it's shooting out. follow the path of the orbs. If you try to just follow the boss, you'll just die out in the air because you'll lose some buff that you need to have in order not to die. So you need to follow the orbs all the way, even though it's like kind of a long way around, even if you know where you're going. Follow these orbs, which will eventually lead you exactly to where you need to go to get to the boss. And then once you land down here where the boss is, he's going to be doing a really like long cast bar. And the first person that gets down here just needs to interrupt it, basically. So you see he goes into this acidic eruption cast. It's a very long cast. You just want to interrupt that. I mean, you can wait. I waited for a little bit as a tank just so he's just sitting and casting and doing nothing else. Trying to see if we actually have our whole team. It looks like everybody did actually make it down to this part of the fight. So looks like people kind of figured it out by the end of the fight. But for most of the dungeon, I think I had 3 players. But once you get to here, you don't even have to kill all of his health bar. You just have to fight him for a few seconds and then the fight will end. And the loot spawns in a chest. Oh, it's right. Everything, you get picked up in a boat here, and then the loot will be spawned on the ship at the top. There it is. There's the loot chest, and that's just like a basic rundown of how the map works in the Dawnbreaker. Hopefully that's helpful for the people that are struggling to figure out how to be oriented in this dungeon. Again, not a Mythic Plus guide, not a boss fight guide necessarily, just kind of helping to orient players to where they need to go in the dungeon. Hopefully this is helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.